Do you even lift? That is a question these guys will not be hearing. There is no question, the entries on this list are jacked beyond the means of most of us regular mortals, with muscles out of all human proportions. Each pick on this top 5 are absolute monsters, destroying every bodybuilder from the real world with their impossibly pristine physiques. This is my top 5 buff dudes in gaming. Cleaning up the streets is no easy task, and taking down an entire gang single-handedly is even harder. Only the toughest of vigilantes would be up to this task, and Max Thunder is perhaps the toughest of them all. A professional wrestler, he is so confident of his martial abilities that he doesn't even bother wearing proper gear, instead donning a simple pair of colourful lycra leggings and wrestler boots. Despite taking on an entire city of gangsters at night, Matt doesn't feel the cold and can plough straight through the thugs without even breaking a sweat. Standing far taller than his opponents, it almost makes you feel sympathy for the bad guys, as they barely stand a chance against this Adonis. Max has only ever appeared in one game, Streets of Rage 2, and was the only character that didn't have a direct course to battle the Syndicate, beyond being friends with Axel. This means he took down an entire legion of evildoers simply because his mate needed a hand. What a lad. If we're lucky, Sega will bring back this monolith of a fighter in a future brawler of some kind. We can only hope. BlazBlue has a varied cast of unique characters, though none are more pumped than Iron Tager. Each of his arms has about 5,000 different muscles, and if you include his gigantic pecs and abs, his surface area is truly enormous. Tager does have one or two advantages over his human contemporaries. He is technically a cyborg, which means his blood type is natural oil, affording him certain qualities that allow him to sport such oversized limbs. In addition, because of his robotic arms, he is constantly working out, keeping him in such ridiculous shape. Tager is one of the tallest on this list, checking in at just under 8 feet. His crimson red skin, spiky hair and demon fangs give him a truly monstrous appearance. This is one dude you would not mess with. Despite having such overwhelming power, he is still controlled by someone else and spends time beating up little girls. How noble. This guy is in shape, there is no doubt about it. After being called up from the dead to save a princess, any warrior will need to be in tip-top performance. The Centurion from Altered Beast on the Mega Drive goes further though, with each additional power-up. Initially, he's just a muscular man, but after 2 power-ups, he goes full Arnold. Looking actually quite hilarious, his tiny head pales in comparison to his enormous size and bulging biceps. It's clear he's quite proud of this inflated figure, as he is quite happy to punch zombies and devils in just his pants, not worrying about any cuts and bruises he might pick up on his adventure. It's unfortunate for him really that he does keep turning into the Altered Beasts, as they actually look a lot weaker. Sure, they have special powers, but he no longer looks like he could literally lift the moon. It's especially unfortunate that he has to turn into the bear, as the bear is awful and useless. I hate the bear. Bloody bear. The Red Cyclone himself, Zangief, is the Soviet Union's legacy weapon, carrying his dead country's flag with him into tournaments across the world. Like Max, he has his roots in wrestling, but Zangief is far more iconic, and probably more powerful. His strength is such that he has no problem flinging a 30-stone sumo wrestler over his head backwards in a bathhouse. Truly special. Zangief is a pretty fearless fellow, as he lacks some of the superpowers of the other world warriors. He doesn't rely on flashy uppercuts or Hadoukens, instead utilising a far more tactical strategy of carefully timed throws and counters, which betray his slugger appearance. One has to wonder if Zangief employed the same sort of steroid treatments that Ivan Drago did in order to achieve such a physique. However, I like to believe it is a strict regime of Cossack dancing, wrestling and careful chest grooming. Zangief ranks higher than some of the others on this list because he has clearly suffered for his art, sporting several prominent scars all across his body that detail he has been in a scrap or two. Zangief is an absolute giant and one of the most ripped characters in all of gaming. How can you be more burly than a 2-armed bodybuilder? Have 4 arms, of course. Each of Goro's rippling attachments are perfectly sculpted, giving him the appearance of an absolute shredder. Going up against this guy would be suicide, as his strength must be unbelievable. That being said, it must be pretty hard for him to work out his lower arm shoulders without knocking into his upper arms constantly. I bet it's a right old hassle. Goro is a Shokan that won 9 consecutive Mortal Kombat tournaments, the hardest of all battles, without anyone managing to challenge him. He was eventually beaten as the game suggests, but that doesn't take away from his 9 previous victories. He was probably just having an off day. In his first appearances, Goro was basically just a cheat character, as he could ruthlessly knock you down without giving you a chance to fight back. But in the modern titles, he's far more balanced, being a powerful yet slow warrior. Nobody can ever deny though, this dude is a beast. Did you like this list? Let me know what your picks would have been in the comments below. I'm always looking for new suggestions for lists, so please let me know if you have any. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to be notified of all upcoming videos when they're released. Goodbye!